Hey, hi everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
Um, Currently, I think there are other people to join the. We'll see. 8 a.m. now. It's running. AM right. Correct. Ajay join. Fine, sir. Let's get started. Where were we yesterday? Remaining topics cover చేద్దాం అనుకున్నాం కదా. I mean, కొన్ని లక్ష్మి పెట్టారు. అవి. Right. Talk. Document 28, 29. Last. Right. Right. So, Lakshmi mentioned చేసిన దాంట్లో మెజారిటీగా అంతా ఊప్స్ కాన్సెప్ట్సే ఉన్నాయి. ఊప్స్ అది అయిపోయింది కదా అన్ని. let me tell you. Lakshmi. mm, Right. సో ఇందులో ఊప్స్ ఓవర్వ్యూ అండ్ ఇన్హెరిటెన్స్, అబ్స్ట్రాక్షన్స్, ఓకే, అబ్స్ట్రాక్ట్ క్లాస్, ఓవర్లోడింగ్, ఓవర్ రైడింగ్ ఇవైతే అయిపోయినాయి, రైట్? మిగిలిదేంటి? డేటాబేస్ డాట్ స్టేట్ఫుల్. ఓకే. సో ఐ బిలీవ్ ఎవ్రీవన్ రిమెంబర్ ద బ్యాచ్ ఎపెక్స్, రైట్? బ్యాచ్ ఎపెక్స్. Nobody? Come on. Nobody remember the batch epex?
start, execute, finish అంతే.
Right, exactly. సో బై డిఫాల్ట్ బ్యాచ్ ఎపెక్స్ అనేది స్టేట్లెస్ లో ఉంటుంది అన్నమాట. ఓకే. నౌ వాట్ డస్ ఇట్ మీన్ బై స్టేట్ఫుల్? Let's open this developer console. Hmm. What happens, right? Let me open the batch. Okay. So someone please tell me what's happening here. What are we trying to implement? What are we trying to do? And imagine there are 1 lakh records. The total how many records? 1 lakh records, right? Now tell me fast what's happening. What are we updating? Update అనేది ఇక్కడ ఉంది. So we are updating something. So what are we updating?
Phone facts.
Phone and facts.
Phone and facts of how many records?
1 lakh.
1 lakh.
సో ఇప్పుడు మీరు అప్డేట్ చేస్తున్నప్పుడు ఇట్ డజంట్ మ్యాటర్ కే వాట్ రికార్డ్స్ యూఆర్ అప్డేటింగ్ లెట్స్ సే ఈ 1 lakh అనేది ఒకటేసారి ప్రాసెస్ అవ్వదు ఇక్కడ. ఓకే, ఇది ఒక లిస్ట్ కదా, సారీ, ఒక లిస్ట్ ఉన్నప్పుడు వి హిట్ ద గవర్నర్ లిమిట్. గవర్నర్ లిమిట్ అంటే ఇక్కడ యూ విల్ బి ఏబుల్ టు గెట్ ఓన్లీ 50,000 రికార్డ్స్. ఓకే, అదే కదా, రైట్? మనకు 50,000 కంటే ఎక్కువ కావాలి అంటే వీ హ్యావ్ టు యూస్ డేటాబేస్ డాట్ క్వెరీ లొకేటర్ దట్ వీ డిస్కస్, రైట్? రైట్ నౌ, సో లెట్స్ ఈ 50,000 రికార్డ్స్ ఉన్నాయి. ఓకే, ఈ 50,000 రికార్డ్స్ ని మనం డివైడ్ చేసుకుంటుంది ఇది బ్యాచ్ ఎఫెక్ట్స్, రైట్? లెట్స్ ఇట్ ఈస్ డివైడింగ్ with how many, let's say 100. ఓకే, అప్పుడు 100 చంక్స్ క్రియేట్ అవుతాయి కదా, రైట్? అంటే ఒక చంక్ లో ఎన్ని రికార్డ్స్ ఉంటాయండి? హౌ మెనీ రికార్డ్స్ విల్ బి దేర్ ఇన్ వన్ చంక్?
500.
500 రికార్డ్స్. ఓకే, సో ప్రతి చంక్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ అవుతుంది అండ్ ప్రతి చంక్ లో డేటా అనేది అప్డేట్ అవుతుంది, రైట్? ఇన్ ఎవ్రీ చంక్ డేటా విల్ గెట్ అప్డేటెడ్ ఫర్ షూర్, రైట్? నౌ ఒక్క చంక్ కి ఇంకో చంక్ కి కనెక్షన్ ఉండదు. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ యూ సీ ఈ 500 రికార్డ్స్ విల్ బి a one chunk. Okay, will be in a single chunk. Okay, if you the second chunk will have again 500 records, right? Third chunk will have again 500 records, right? But doesn't matter what what we are trying to implement. We are trying to implement the same thing, రైట్? అప్డేట్ చేస్తున్నాం మనం. ఓకే, సో ఈ చంక్కి కనెక్షన్ లేకపోయినా పర్లేదు, అంతే కదా, రైట్? ఇందులో ఉన్న రికార్డ్స్ అప్డేట్ అవ్వాలి, ఇందులో ఉన్న రికార్డ్స్ అప్డేట్ అవుతాయి, ఇందులో ఉన్న రికార్డ్స్ అప్డేట్ అవుతాయి. ఓకే, అండ్ అగైన్ ఈ చంక్ ఈ 3 చంక్స్ కనెక్టెడ్ గా ఉండాలన్న రూల్ ఏం లేదు అండ్ అవసరం కూడా లేదు, రైట్? ఎందుకంటే మనకు కావాల్సింది అయితే హ్యాపెనింగ్ దే, రైట్? మనకేం కావాలి? డేటా అనేది అప్డేట్ గా అవ్వాలి, అంతే. బట్ జస్ట్ సపోజ్ ఇక్కడ ఒక చంక్ ఉంది, ఓకే, సెకండ్ చంక్, ఓకే, ద థర్డ్ చంక్. నౌ నాకు టోటల్ నంబర్ ఆఫ్ రికార్డ్స్ నేను కౌంట్ చేయాలి. ఐ హావ్ టు కౌంట్ ద టోటల్ నంబర్ ఆఫ్ రికార్డ్స్. ఓకే, మీరు చెప్పండి ఎన్ని రికార్డ్స్ ఉన్నాయి ఇప్పుడు ఇక్కడ? 500. ద కౌంట్ విల్ బి
1,500.
right? Right. So count, you see, if I want to count this, okay, I mean, if I want to have a track of data from one chunk to another chunk, okay, నాకు data track కావాలి అంటే అప్పుడు I have to write, అప్పుడు I have to go for database dot state. stateful. ఇక్కడ all I have to do is I need to put the comma and I need to implement database dot stateful. Okay, right? So basically database dot stateful is kind of an interface only. Okay, it is not unique, or it is not a method. No, by default the class the code is saved now, right? So this is where you will write database dot stateful, just in case if you want to keep a track of the chunks or track of the records. Okay, now and again it is a interface, simple thing. Okay, right, moving ahead, the second one I remember was callouts, Apex callouts, I guess, or sorry, database callouts. Just a minute. ఇక్కడ ఉండేది again I have to open WhatsApp. Okay, anyways, you see, if you're performing integrations, what should be the this one, access specifier. What should be the access specifier? Just in case if you're performing integrations, etc.
I guess global, right?
What do we do? Nice, global. Perfect.
Yes.
So here also I can make this class as a global class just in case if I want to perform the integration, or and again the methods should also be global, right? Integrations, or if I'm doing some callouts. Okay. And now what does it mean by callouts or something like that? You see, you remember the methods of this rest, get, post, patch, put, ఇవన్నీ ఉంటాయి కదా, right? So that you have to perform in the batch apex. If you want to perform that, then you have to perform it in the execute method. Okay. Let me be more specific. I'll just try to write it down here in the in the org. So I'm in the document. All right. So the very first thing,
సార్ ఇది డాక్ వేరు కదా,
sorry.
ఇది డాక్యుమెంట్ ఊప్స్ అండ్ క్లోజ్ ఉన్నది కదా.
అవును, మీ 2 batches కి యాక్సెస్ ఉంది కదా దీనికి.
ఓకే ఓకే సరే సార్,
అంటే ఈవెన్ మీకు లేదా యాక్సెస్?
ఉంది సార్ ఉంది. అంటే వాళ్ళు కన్ఫ్యూజ్ అవుతారని చెప్పి అంటారు కదా.
పర్లేదు, నేను మళ్ళీ 2 documents లో రాయాలి ఎందుకు అని చెప్పేసి.
ఓకే సార్ ఓకే.
రైట్. సో హియర్ ఫస్ట్ ఏం డిస్కస్ చేసుకున్నాం మనం? స్టేట్ఫుల్ కదా. Stateful. So stateful is used. It is used to have a track of records between between chunks uh between chunks in the execute method. Okay. In the execute method, actually stateful, or database dot stateful ఇది కదా, database dot stateful. Okay. Now it is a interface. Okay. It is a interface. Okay. And it is used to have a track. It is an interface, right? Now where it is implemented? Public class bash demo. Let's say bash demo interface చెప్పండి ఎవరైనా. batch apex interface చెప్పండి.
Implements.
Perfect. Implements.
Back.
Database dot
Batch.
బ్యాచబుల్.
అంతేనా?
Object name.
Right. In Angular bracket, S object. Now, basically, if you don't write anything here, it will be a stateless. Okay. If I put comma and write database dot stateful, then it will be a stateful batch apex. Okay. And again, here you see, where are these? I'll pass the code in the groups. Okay. వీటి యొక్క codes ని I'll put it in a document and pass in the group. You please try it. Okay. So here, right, it is an interface. It tracks a code. Fine, right. Note here is it is a batch apex. A batch apex by default will be a stateless. Okay. Stateless batch apex. Okay. When you implement this, it will become a stateful batch apex. Okay. Next two, database. I think database dot what was the other one? Callouts, right? Yeah, okay. Right. So here if you observe, when we talk about okay, callouts, it is, whenever we are trying to implement, whenever we are trying to implement HTTP callout in the execution method, in the execution or execute methods of batch, and we can process that only for the execute method, okay, not for the others, okay. And here, whenever we are trying to implement HTTP callouts in the execute method of batch apex, we have to give we have to provide allow callouts, or allows call out callouts, okay, callouts interface, okay, interface in the batch apex, okay. Now example, I'll show you that how is that happening. Public s- public class, it's a batch demo, implements database dot batch s object. Now I just need to put the comma. After comma, I will write database dot allows call out. Okay. Now this will help in understanding this batch apex is performing some integrations or web callouts. Okay. This interface will help understanding the batch apex that we are implementing the web callouts, okay, web callouts in the batch apex. Right. Now, how you write down that interface here? It is very, just that you need to put the comma instead of the stateful. I'll write allows callout, actually, callouts. Right. Now let me try to save it. Right. So here the syntax is perfectly fine, and your code is also saving. And again, it is a interface. Allow callouts is a interface. Okay, using which in the execution method I can use the HTTP callouts. Okay, now HTTP callouts are like, including this JSON query also. Okay, I have to pass the JSON query. Okay, and how do we take this? How do we call this callouts ante? I mean, how do we use this web callouts ante? All you have to do is you need to create the HTTP request. You know, instance of a HTTP request. Okay, something like this, equals to new. Now, apart from this HTTP request, you also need to get the response as well. Okay, and there are many things. Even, the same thing, but how we do this integrations using the same post patch methods. Okay. Anyways, we'll discuss that later. I mean, I will discuss that with an example that I'll pass it in the group. Okay. You please try over that. Okay. And again, next, what was the next? Let me check. Next point in term callouts, Gardner limits. Okay. Gardner limits is this site. I'll just paste the, third Gardner limits. here. All right. So Gardner limits are clear. Okay, how many records you can retrieve in a object, etc., etc. And see here, the size is that size of the memory is what difference when it comes to asynchronous and synchronous effects. Okay, and again, as I just told you, the total number of records that you can retrieve in a list, okay, using Sockwell query is 50,000 records. It doesn't matter synchronous or asynchronous. Okay, but when you use database.get query locators, or when you use some other things to get the data, here this is the limit. Okay, you can get only 10,000 records. Okay, now apart from that, we have something called DMLs triggerings. There is one important point, actually, this memory point that I've told you earlier. Okay, that's it. So yeah, here maximum number of rows per apex cursor is 50 millions. Okay. Anyways, here I'll just take the site. Copy. You go through this site, you will find all the limits of limits that been provided from the Apex site. Okay. Now the fourth point, but before that, I just want to know how many of students are present. Okay. That's 29, nobody joined. Okay. Fine. Next, what was next? Oops, overview. Okay, antenna. Constructor. Okay, constructor. That's interesting. Constructor, right? Constructor, it is a special method. Special method. Okay. And it has to be public. This is a special method and it has to be public. Okay. Now, and its name must be the class name. Its name must be the class name. Okay. For example, let me show you. I'll just take a new Apex class called let's say const demo. Okay, and there we go. You see, this is class. Okay, now if I write public const demo, now this is here is a constructor. Okay, this method is actually a constructor. For example, so I'll declare something out of this method. Okay, let's say string name. Okay, I'm just declaring. Okay, here I will assign something. Let's say name is equals to Krishna. Okay, right. Now, if I execute this, I can have a separate method too. Okay, that's a public static or static void, or better public void actually. Hmm. Public void, let's say method one. Okay, so here this method one is actually a method where this is a constructor. Okay, it doesn't require any static or void kind of thing, because here constructor cannot be a return type. Okay? Constructor will not have a return type. Okay, so basically we have to avoid it. And again, when it comes to constructor, or when it comes to constructor name should be a class name. Okay, and it cannot return the data. Okay, but it can pass the data, it can parameterize the data. And again, this constructor is of with parameters, okay, without parameters, okay. This they are there are two constructors, with parameter constructors and without parameter constructors, okay. Now in the method one, I can simply print this system.debug. So my name is colon and then plus name. Save. So basically here, this is of public, this is of public, and this is of public. So I can utilize the name from this method to another method also. Okay. From the constructor to another constructor. Okay. But if I declare something here within this method, I cannot use that anywhere else. Okay. But this is the first time that we are implementing variable is declared in a constructor, but now we are utilizing that in a, I mean, variable is assigned in the constructor, but we are using that in a new method, okay, in a different method. Let me try to execute this. But again, to execute this, let's say if I'm trying to execute something like const demo dot method one. Let's see what happens. You see, non-static cannot method cannot be. No, this is non-static method. Okay, fine. So I first need to create the instance of this class. Okay. All right. Now cd is equals to new cd dot method. Okay. Now let me execute this. Right. You see, my name is Krishna. We got that, and again, how we got this? We got this from the constructor. Okay, this is a constructor, and this is a method. Let me pass it in the doc. Right. Next, again, I can also have, as I said, I can also have the parameters inside this. Okay, for example, let's say integer age. Okay. Now, I can assign this here within this method itself, and I can call it in the method one. Okay. That is also fine because this is a parameterized constructor. Okay. If you have, if you have the parameters, then it is a parameterized constructor. If you don't have the, parameter, then it is non-parameterized constructor. Okay. Now, the next, what was the next? Constructor, types of constructor is done. Okay. Right. Overriding even IP right. And there's something called query conditions. Okay. Let me, I'll just query conditions. Okay. So here, if I take you to this document, let's say SOQL. Hmm. Just a minute. Right. What was the first thing, Anjali? Okay, so I'll directly perform the queries last circle, right? So first one was group by, right. First one was the group by one. Okay. So what does it mean by group by? Okay, you please try to understand this. Okay. First is obviously our query starts with select. Okay. Let's select something from the account. Okay, let's say select ID. Okay, comma rating. Okay. Fine. Okay, rating from, so fine. Name kuda kavalu. Rating, comma name from account. Okay. So now I will get all the data from the account. Okay. See, I'm getting a total 60 records. Okay. Where, if I perform this simple logic, if I say, where, where, or let's say, okay, where created date, let's say created date is equals to last, last 90 days. Again, same thing. Okay. But this time, let's say last 45 days. Okay. 45 days until you have to write N and last low colon 45. Right. Now, if I say group by, or so let me first execute this. Yeah, I'm getting only 17 records. Okay. Now, if I say group by rating. If I say group by rating, see what happens. Okay, just a minute. I think the count, I need to count this ID. Just field must be grouped or aggregated name. What could be the reason? Just a minute. What's happening? Let me check just a minute. Why is it not executing? Acha, it is executing actually, you see. But not exactly the way that we want. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll just remove the name and I'll have a rating because I want to group it by rating, right? So let me execute now. Okay, fine. So great. Now you see, group by rating, and you see by using rating, we are getting the counts. Okay, you see, warm. There are how many records with warm? 3 records. There are how many records with the hot? 10. There are how many records with cold? 1. Okay, and again with none record, one with none rating, we have 3 records. Okay, so that's how it is. Okay, where you will have count, ID, and rating. If you are using group by, you have to group by with rating anukunte. Okay, rating to చూసుకుంటే there are 3. If I say instead of rating, if I say industry, and here also if I have industry, it will it will group by industry. You see, with none we have 16 records. With energy we have 1 record in the last 45 days. Okay, so let's say industry ek let's say ఇంకేముంది అందులో యాక్టివ్. ఓకే, యాక్టివ్ అని ఉందా? ఐ థింక్ ద కస్టమ్ ఫీల్డ్ ఈస్ అండ్ కస్టమ్ ఫీల్డ్ ఇన్ కాల్డ్ యాక్టివ్. ఇక్కడ అకౌంట్. న్యూ. Okay, done, done. Now let's do one thing. Let's say, let's take name. Okay. But this time, we have to group by name. అప్పుడు ఏమైతుంది, నేమ్ తో పాటు ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఫైసల్ రికార్డ్, దే ఆర్ సో మెనీ ఫైసల్ రికార్డ్స్. ఓకే, సో ఇట్ విల్ group by name. Now it will give you the count, you see. Yes, with Faisal we have how many records? You see, 5 records. With testing, created con we have 1. Faisal with parenthesis we have 4, etc., etc. Again we have Faisal Khan 1, Shaklin we have 3 records, etc., etc. So this group by will group the number of records and it will display it with the help of count, function. With the help of count function. Okay, let me copy and here I'll paste it. First,
సార్ అలాగైతే కనుక ఊప్స్ కాన్సెప్ట్ లో మనము యూనిక్ నేమ్ ఉన్న రికార్డ్స్ కూడా డిలీట్ చేయొచ్చు. అలాగైతే
unique name ఉన్న records.
డిలీట్ చేయొచ్చా? సపోజ్ ఇప్పుడు యూనిక్ టెక్స్ట్ 1 అని చెప్పి టెస్ట్ అని చెప్పి రికార్డ్స్ ఉంటాయి కదా, టెస్ట్ 1, టెస్ట్ 2, టెస్ట్. అక్కడ
Yeah.
టెస్ట్ అని ఉన్న రికార్డు ప్రతిదీ డిలీట్ చేయాలి.
అప్పుడు మీకు గ్రూప్ బై చేసే అవసరం ఏముంది?
గ్రూప్ బై కాదు సార్, నార్మల్ గా అంటున్నా ఊప్స్ కాన్సెప్ట్.
చేయొచ్చు.
అదే సార్, ఫ్లో యూజ్ చేసి చేయొచ్చా?
చేయొచ్చు.
సార్ అది కొంచెం అలాగో చెప్పారు, మీరు చెప్తే కొంచెం ఎందుకు కొట్టింది అది.
అంటే ఇప్పుడు ఇఫ్ యూ యూజ్ ద సాఫ్ట్వేర్, ఆఫ్ కోర్స్ డూప్లికేట్ రికార్డ్స్ లిస్ట్ లో ఉంటే డెఫినెట్లీ వస్తాయి.
ఇదంటలేదు సార్, సాఫ్ట్వేర్ అన్నట్లే నేను నార్మల్ గా ఊప్స్ కాన్సెప్ట్ లో.
ఊప్స్ కాన్సెప్ట్ లో నార్మల్ గా ఏంటి ఎగ్జాక్ట్? రిపీట్ అగైన్ ప్లీజ్.
ఇప్పుడు మనం అందులో రికార్డ్ ట్రిగ్గర్ అని చెప్పి యూజ్ చేసి క్రియేటివ్ అప్డేట్ ఇవన్నీ చేస్తూ ఉంటాం. అలాగే నేను అనేది ఏంటంటే యూనిక్ నేమ్, లైక్ టెస్ట్ 1, టెస్ట్ 2, టెస్ట్ 3 లాస్ట్ నేమ్ లో ఉన్నాయి కాంటాక్ట్ లో. ఈ టెక్స్ట్ అన్న ఉన్న రికార్డు ప్రతిదీ డిలీట్ అయిపోవాలి ఆర్గ్ లో.
ఓకే,
అది మనం ఎలా చేయాలి సార్? అది కొంచెం అర్థమైందా?
టెస్ట్ ఉన్న రికార్డ్స్ మాత్రమే.
టెస్ట్ ఉన్న రికార్డ్స్ డిలీట్ అవ్వాలి.
ఓకే, ఓకే. సో ఇప్పుడు యూ వాంట్ టు గెట్ ద రికార్డ్స్. ఓకే, వాంట్ టు గెట్ లెట్స్ సే టెస్ట్ ఉన్న రికార్డ్స్. వేర్ ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ?
ఇప్పుడు కాంటాక్ట్ లో లాస్ట్ నేమ్ అని ఉంది.
ఓకే, I'll tell you. Right. So అప్పుడు let's say here I'll use select ID. Okay, last name from contact. ఇప్పుడు నాకు ఫైసల్ ఉంది కదా, ఫైసల్ ఇవ్వండి, ఇవి సపరేట్ గా కన్సిడర్ అవుతుంది. ఈ ఫైసల్ సపరేట్ గా ఉంది, ఈ ఫైసల్ 0 అని ఉంది కదా, ఈ ఫైసల్ 0 తోటి 4 రికార్డ్స్ ఉన్నాయి, రైట్? సో ఇవి సపరేట్ గా క్యాల్కులేట్ అవుతున్నాయి. ఫైసల్ ఖాన్ అని సపరేట్ గా క్యాల్కులేట్ అవుతున్నాయి. టోటల్ గా ఎన్ని ఉన్నాయి ఫైసల్ అని? 1 + 4 5, రైట్? 5 + 5 10, అంతేనా? కరెక్టేనా? 5 + 4 + 1. You guys getting it? అజయ్, మీ క్వశ్చన్ ఇదే కదా, ఈ ఫైసల్ అన్న రికార్డ్స్ టోటల్ 10 రికార్డ్స్ నాకు రావాలంటున్నాను మీరు, అంతేనా?
సాఫ్ట్వేర్ లో కాదు సార్ నేను అడిగింది, ఫ్లోస్ లో ఎలా చేయాలి డిలీట్?
ఫ్లోలోనా?
ఫ్లోస్ లో.
Flows, there are certain things not possible from flows, but anyways I'll tell you. Yeah. From scratch. Let's take the, or, let me schedule it first time. Let's use the get records. So now, when you use this get records, let's say object is contact, right? Last name, condition will be the last name, and e operator low, you will find something called contains. Okay, contains Faisal. Okay. So if any records, ఉన్న records లో, let's say there are 100 records. Okay. ఆ 100 records లో ఏదైతే రికార్డ్ లో ఫైసల్ ఉంటే ఆ ఫైసల్ ఆ రికార్డ్స్ డేటా అనేది వస్తుంది అనమాట. అజయ్ క్లియర్? Right. Now, moving ahead, what's the next one? Group by is group by is clear? Clear and group by. You guys confused? Let me know now.
No, sir, it is completed.
Okay. Mm, okay, next one ఏంటి చూద్దాం సార్, just లక్ష్మీ చాట్. Group by next time on the having out. Right now, mm, requirement. Sockwell actually does, so Sockwell doesn't support having, I guess. I just don't. Mm, very close. Anusha, that is done from that we have done with the help, with this record forms, kada. The same way you have to create that form. Hmm. I tell you, there are certain different logic. Having, I don't think having we have it. We have having in this one, SQL. But here, SOQL doesn't support having, I guess. Or else let me ask the Google. I haven't seen, does SOQL support having clause is supports? Okay, wait. Aggregate functions. Okay, using an aggregate functions. Okay, let's see. Great. Let me just count. Same, with the with the count, we have to perform having, which is again commonly done in other query languages, but here having count ID, where is this? I just copied this one, no? Group by. What's happening? Okay. Group by mailing country. Okay. And having count ID greater than one. Let me remove the limits. Okay. So fine. Executes. First, let me execute this. Group by name. Okay. So this is what we got, right? Now, having count ID greater than one, right? So you see, having the count greater than one is like, more than one records. For example, you see, if I remove this group by name, I will get all the records with one, even if, even there's a single record, it is counting. You see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are five ones, right? There are five single records, right? Again, here, if I use having, okay, having count of this ID is greater than one, then it will remove this once. Okay, it will get only five. Or let's say I'll do ulta. Later I will do ulta. See, for example, now when I execute, I'm getting the records whose count is more than one. Okay, more than one, that is 5, 4, 5, 4, 3. Or let's say if I write whose count is less than 3. Now I will not get this these things. Okay, let's see. Right, I'm getting only single records. Okay, because I'm expecting less than 3. The count of record which is less than 3. If I say less than equals to 3, I will be getting 1 along with 3. Okay, there are 3 number of records, etc. Okay. Right. Right. So that's one having. Let me, I'll just copy and paste it in the. Done. All right. What was the next one? Having ordered by. So orders by is like sorting anamata. Okay, right. Order by is sorting of records. For example, if I say same thing, let's use the similar query. Okay, the same query. It's just that instead of group by, I'll simply write order by. Order by, let's say name. Okay, for example, A B S then T, right? First, ascending or descending order. First come F, obviously, right? And yes, and then T to start over. Okay. So if I can made it as ascending order or as in a descending order. Okay. Let's say order by name. Order by name. Okay. Name descending DESC is what represent the descending order. Okay. You see, order field must be grouped or aggregated. Okay. Let's say count. execute. Ordered field must be grouped or just a minute, or else let's say, right, where group by name, order by name. Right, now it is clear. So here, right, you can clearly see it is in a descending order, right? First comes the T, then S, and then we got F, right? So just in case if you want it in ascending order, you just need to write A, S, C, okay, and then execute. So now F comes first, S, and then T, right? So these order by is like a sorting, as I told you earlier. Now copied, and here, so having group by is done, having is done, and ordered by. Order by, right. Right. Now, what's the other one? Limit we all know, right? For example, limit kaakunda, there is one more thing she mentioned, offset. Okay, I'll take. So here, instead of all this, if I execute only this query, I'll be having field must be grouped on which field. But if I use count, I have to group it, but I don't want to count it, so I'll just directly write ID. Now, see, I'm getting 17 records, okay, but I want the top recently created, the last created 10 records. I will limit it to 10. Okay. You see, I can get only 10 records using limit. Okay, I can get only the last created record one, that is this one. Okay, so it's fine if you have 10, if you have 100, but yeah, among all the records, among 1,000 records, if you write limit 10, it will get only the 10 records. Okay. Next one is offset. Entering. Right. Just a minute, please. Right. Yeah. Next one is offset. Right. Offset is like excluding some records. For example, limit లానే ఉంటుంది, but yeah, it has to, in many cases, it has to be executed with limit. Okay. For example, let's say limit 10 and రాస్తున్నాం కదా. So how many records am I getting? 10 records. Okay. Now, just in case I want to skip some records, ఇందులోనే I want to skip some records. Okay. Then I have to use offset. Let me write in capital letters. Small letters will రాసిన పర్లేదు. Okay. Offset 5. Okay. Now, if I execute this, again I'll get the 10 records, but starting low 5 records was vanished. You see, execute, right? You see, I have top 5 records. You see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. three today's data తో పాటు ఇంకా 4 Faisal records. Okay, that records. Now let me put, right, you see Faisal అని వచ్చింది, we have the total 10 records వచ్చాయి మళ్ళీ, right? But 17 records లో 10 records వచ్చి except the recently created 5 records. So offset is used to exclude the values. Okay, it is used to, let me write down, it is used to skip the initial records. Okay, initial records. So let's say if I don't use limit, see what happens. Execute. Offset 5 అని అన్నాం అంటే total 17 నుంచి recently created 5 records అనేది it is gone, right? Among all the records, total 17 records కదా, ఈ offset కూడా నేను తీసేస్తే there will be 17 records. Okay, you see along with this. Okay, if I write offset 5, so recently create అయిన records నుంచి వెళ్ళిపోతాయి అవి. You see 5 records వెళ్ళిపోయి the result will be 12. Right, you see this 17 becomes 12 now, right? And it removed the initial records. Okay, next ఈ ఆఫ్సెట్ లిమిట్స్ యూజ్ చేస్తే అగైన్ ముందే ఈ అవుట్ ఆఫ్ 10 records, I mean out of 17 records, if I write limit 10, it will get only 10 records, right? If I write limit 10, it will get only in top or recently created 10 records. But అందులో నుంచి కూడా if I write offset 5, then it will remove the recently created 5 records. I mean, it will skip the 5 records, okay, and it will get the rest records, okay. Something like this. Copy. That's it. So limit is used to get the only limited records. Okay, we can have ascending or descending. Okay, having will get the count, etc. Group by, it will again it is like a summary. Okay, group by reports, we have to group while creating the reports and dashboards. Majorly reports, when you create the report, you have to create a summary report, you have to group by the rows. Okay, matrix kavalante group by rows and columns. Okay, but here we can group by only with one field, and we are group buying it with name. So from names it will count and it will display the number of records with particular names. Okay, and again here also we have group by names and having count which is less than 3, which means it will filter the records. Okay, having, it's like filter the records, whereas order by will sort the records. Sort the records in ascending or descending order. In the ascending or descending order. Okay, order. Limits, it will get the limited records, whereas offset it will get the it will skip the records. Limit, let me write it down. It will fetch the limited records. It will fetch the limited records. Okay, offset, same. Offset will skip the records. Either you use limit or without limit, fine. But majority of the cases we use it with the limits only. Okay, limit only. That's it. I think that's the last one that we have.
Aura component.
Aura coexisting kada. Ajay, we have 29 batch in this meet kabatti. We'll have a separate schedule once you guys came offline, or
Yes, sir.
this Saturday or something. I will schedule the class. Okay.
Thank you.
Done. And again, Manvidhi could have query on the parent to child communication. I will sort it that. in the batch 29 is not yet with this thing. I mean, with this LWC. So we'll schedule it separately. That's it then. That's it for the sessions. Okay. For batch 28, this is the last session. And the last sessions is not like in case we lost the touch on Kadu. You have any queries, you can definitely ping me out. You can reach me out anytime. And come to the institute this Saturday. Give your mock test for sure. Okay. Attend the mock interviews, and we'll forward the things to the placements. Okay. That's it then. We'll see you people soon. Thank you for joining. Good day. Bye-bye.
Bye, sir.
Bye. And batch 29 will have LWC from tomorrow. Okay. Thank you for joining. Bye bye.